Welcome to Walking with Jesus Bible Study. We're going to be in the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 6. Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. And I'm going to repeat that. Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. Many of us are very, very, very lazy. Very lazy. The scriptures tells us not to be lazy over and over again. In fact, even in some of the letters that Paul wrote, he's reprimanding the people who is taking from the church, because the church is providing food and clothing and money to the poor who they need it because they have no other way to provide for themselves. He's saying if you have the ability to work, to get up and go work and quit freeloading off the church. There's many Christians, and there's a lot of people who won't say it because they might think it's a racial thing, but this has nothing to do with the racialness. It has to do with laziness. That believe in God and go to church every week, but all they do is freeload off a welfare. And I'm going to say it, the Bible says not to do so. You have the ability to get up off your butt and go work. Get up off your butt and go work. Quit depending on the government. Quit depending on this church and go support and work for yourself. God will make a way for you. There's many of you people out here believe that you are a Christian and a Christ follower and you obey his commandments. But all you do is live off of the handouts of other people, and yet you have the ability to go to work. There's people out there who have one arm and is finding work. People who have no legs is finding work, and they ain't freeloading off of nobody. But you're making the excuse, oh no, this was meant for us. This word is saying otherwise. It is calling you a sluggard. It's calling you lazy. God didn't want for any of us to sit here and be lazy and to take from one person. If we have the ability to get up off our butts to go do so, then we should go do so. For not only are we supporting ourselves, but we are setting an example to our children. You know, there's many people, and this has nothing to do with race, because there's all sorts of colors of people, of races, that is taking from churches and taking from the government. There's all races. It's not just one race. It's all certain types of people. It's just called the laziness people. Race has nothing to do with it. It just has to do with pure laziness. And there's many of children that's sitting there and making videos, and I've seen it from all colors, not just one, from all colors, that is bragging about, why would I go get a job? My mama didn't know get a job, and she spent all her life and took care of all of us because the government gave all this and that. So why should I go do that when I can just go collect checks from people? Or why should I go work when all I got to do is just keep having another baby by this man and just live off of his child support? And these poor babies is learning that example. Well, my mama did it. She was fine. So I'm going to do it too. Why should I do that? It's just a man trying to keep me down. No. The joke's on you. The joke is on you because the government did that as a means to keep under control of you and to keep you down, as a matter of fact. See, if you read between the lines, the government's just doing that to keep you in the low society, to make you be a low person, so that you become nothing more than just that low life person. The joke is literally on you. You're like, oh man, I ain't gonna let the man get to me. Nah, man, I ain't gonna go get up and work for the man. Nah, I'm gonna let the man pay for me. See, man, it pays to be wise. The government has so much control over you, it's just not even funny. You can't think for yourself. You can't see for yourself. So caught up in that laziness that you're not going to see nothing wise at all, because it doesn't benefit you and your laziness. Laziness is a sin. You know, everybody loves to talk about the sin of murder, the sin of doing drugs and alcohol. But nobody wants to talk about people who are just straight lazy, and the people who are just straight overeating for no reason. That is a sin. Gluttony is a sin. But nobody wants to talk about it. Because nobody wants to hurt certain people's feelings, or they might find it to be racial, this and that. Race has nothing to do with you being lazy. Race has nothing to do with you for being an overeater. It is no different of a sin than somebody who commits murder, somebody who lies and gossip. And that's another thing. Nobody likes to talk about lying and gossiping as if it ain't a sin. And God speaks about lying more times than he does about murder. But we want to be quick to judge people who is a murderer or who is a drug addict than somebody who spends their whole life lying so much. I know people who just lie, just be lying, and have no need to be lying, and just lie. It's a shame. The government lies all the time. In fact, it prepares for you to accept lying. That's why we have a government. That's why we have democracy or politics. Politics ain't nothing but lies, and we got to accept it because all politicians lie. It is setting you for you to always accept being lied to. All the advertisements is all lies, and we accept it all because that's just what they do. It's part of advertisement. The government is preparing you to accept lies. Why? Because you've been taking their lies from all these generations, and now that the lies is coming forth as lies, we don't even care that the lies have been exposed because we're so used to accepting lies. We don't even care. We just accept it. They've been preparing us all this time. Just like they've been preparing you to be obese because all the food is fake and full of poison. None of it is real. That over all these generations, what we used to look like as a human race is no longer. That obesity is okay, it's accepted. Oh, that's just America, us and our hamburgers, and it hasn't even to do with the hamburgers. It has to do with all these chips, almost the Pop-Tarts, the cereal. It's all poison. It's not even real food. And you wonder why, I've gone on diets and I've done this and I've done this and it's just not working. Because all the food you're eating is poison. Quit being lazy. There's a lot of people say, oh, we shouldn't work out as Christians because we're trying to, being vain. They're doing such workouts. We're looking at our bodies and we're just being all in vain. No, you're using that as an excuse to continue to keep being lazy, which in itself is still a sin. Yes, there is a way to where certain people are being considered in their body, the things that they do to do it a little bit in vain. But so is being lazy. So is being dirty. Nobody wants to talk about people who just straight up just nasty. It's a sin to be nasty because it's being lazy. That's why a lot of sicknesses and illness come from dirtiness. As Christians, we got to be prepared to consider all sin because a sin is a sin. Whether it's lazy, gluttony, lies, gossiping, murder, over drinking, overeating, anything that you're doing in an abundance means you are lacking self-control. And as children of God, we've got to have some kind of self-control. Because what we do not have self-control over, the enemy will use against us and control us in that sin.